What's good, y'all? It's Wanye from Epic CW, and we are here for yet another Road to 100 video on the channel. Y'all already know what that means. We got the AK917 from RLAARLO with the super polycarbonate body on top that we have modified to fit. And I want to show a couple of modifications that I made to this vehicle that hopefully we can get a faster speed that we did in the last episode, and we can get closer to that 100 miles an hour that we're looking for. So the first modification that we've made is pretty obvious to tell if you saw the last video. We swapped out the wheels from the rubber wheels to the foams. If you guys have seen the other Road 2 series that we've got going on the channel with the Vendetta, then you'll know that these are actually from the Road 2 80 series from the Vendetta. We had these tires on originally just to set a baseline. They're a lot smaller than the Hoons tires that the Vendetta typically comes with, so I wanted to start with these tires. They're rated for, I believe, 80 plus miles an hour. I've done 64 on them before, or 60 on them before, so I think we can get a little bit faster than that. I'm expecting 70 to 80 miles an hour with these modifications that I've made today, so we'll see. The second modification I made is actually an external one. I upgraded my battery, so now we're running a Bashing Series Gens Ace 6500 milliamp battery. This is a lot stronger than the 3S battery that we had before from Z, so I'm very excited, and I'm not even sure what's going to happen when I plug this thing into the car, to be honest with you. I'm going to buy a fire extinguisher just in case it overpowers the car, something catches on fire, because you already know Chinese manufacturing is a little bit buggy. So I'm going to put this in the car here, take the hood off. Nah, RLAARLO is a good company though. I really like it. So we'll put these Velcro stickers on here, and I also put the Velcro stickers on the carbon fiber bar that stretches across the whole front of the vehicle. And we're just going to sit the battery right on top, and now the battery can just sit nice and snug just like that. Just like that. Put the body pins on. Battery's in there, nice and snug. And actually, the third modification that I wanted to go over was it added a lot more weight to the car. Now you guys aren't going to be able to see it as much, but you guys can see the tires. When I put the car down, kind of see that the butt of the car sinks a little bit, and that is because it adds a lot of weight to the car having that battery inside. So it's now touching the table, and I'm just gonna let it go, so you can see it just sinks. So it's adding a lot of weight to the car, and that does put a lot more torque on the back wheels. Now if we take the battery out, just for reference, obviously the car is not going to be moving without a battery in there, but just for reference we can put the RLAARLO 2S battery in there. Put the body pins back on. Just for reference, it's not as much. Put this battery on. So this battery definitely weighs a lot, and it will affect the car. Like I said, it's going to affect the torque of the back wheels a lot. So my suggestion is, when you are racing a car like this and you make a modification, like adding a bigger battery or more weight to the actual car itself, I would just consider being careful when you're pressing down the throttle. Just ease into it and ease off of it, because if you just pin the throttle down right away, it's going to spin those wheels extremely fast, going from basically 0 energy to 100 instantly, and that's how you start breaking things. So just be weary of that if you're making the modifications that I'm making at home along with me. So yeah, those are some of the modifications we made, and I think that overall, like I said, we can get 70 to 80 miles an hour. That's what I'm expecting. Anything in the middle there, especially with this Bashing Series battery from Gens Ace. Like I said, have really high hopes for that. I wasn't able to get to 100% power in any speedrun video I've done with any 3S LiPo. So this battery is really just going to push all my cars to the next limit, and we'll see how they perform. So I'm going to get out there to the track and see you guys out there. All right, we're at the test strip. We got the Gens Ace Bashing Series battery in the car, turned on. GPS is on. Track start. Let's do this. I'm on 75% throttle right now. That's just to get heat in the tires, and then we'll send it when we come back around at 100. Let us take a look together. Here we go. Stop. Let's read it. 53 miles an hour. What? That's not right. Let's get this back in the road. Let's do one more test. Track. Start. We need to hit at least 60. Man, this thing stops with a beast though. Alright. Alright, we've got another reading. Track, stop, read. Another 53 miles an hour. I don't believe that. We did break our speed record, but 53 just seems a little bit slow. I'm going to get another couple of good recordings here. I'm actually going to do one more speed run test and see if we can break that 53 miles an hour. Hopefully we can. But yeah, let's do this. Track, start, put this down. Battery's got a lot of kick to it. Alright. $54. We got another mile an hour out of it. I feel like the battery just needs to heat up. It is really, really cold out here today. So, and it's its battery's first debut. 54, it did beat our previous speed record of 47, so that's pretty good. I'm thinking the car is just going to speed up as the battery gets a little bit warmer. So I might do a last and final speed test a little bit later on in the video, but I want to get some better shots. I'm going to put the third person camera down and get it as it comes up the street. And yeah, so do that. Too much punch. Way too much punch. Oh wow. All right. I guess we're done with that. I'll bring the car back in. It broke the entire mount off. Sorry it's not a little bit better camera quality. But on that rev, when we punched the throttle, the car flipped. Oh, scraping up the top of the body, breaking the side there. Not good at all. Damn, that really ruined the body here. We're gonna bring that back in here and end the video off. Damn. Thank y'all for watching. We'll have a debrief. I'll bring this thing back in and we'll see if it took any other damage. But see you guys in a sec. So guys, we did end up breaking our speed record for this vehicle here. I believe our previous speed record was 45 miles an hour. We broke 54 with this car today with the modifications that we put on. However, it did come at a cost. These guys might have seen the last pass of the test strip. We did flip the car and we sustained minor damage to the front and back of the polycarbonate body. as well as the roof. You can see that has basically scrapes in it. Looks like we cut it with a knife. I can assure you that did not happen. Car just flipped and took a lot of damage on the roof and the sides of the body. And basically we're going to go over what, if any, damages to the actual body itself and the chassis we sustained today, and why some of that happened. So the first thing that I want to go over is the reason why we had that crash. So if you guys look here, we have body clips that kind of keep the body pinned down, and because we have so much stuff in the cabin here, and I'll take the body off in a second so you guys can see what the cabin looked like on the inside when we were doing this, because it's very compact in here. But basically, because there's so much stuff in the actual cabin itself, it's popping the body up a little bit. And what I could have done was put the body pins down on the 5th little hole, which I'll show you guys. You can now see that the body is not really going anywhere, and the suspension is separate from the actual body itself. Whereas if we were to have the body clips on hole number 3, the body actually is pretty far away from the maximum amount that the car could have the body on before it starts affecting the suspension to the car. Basically what happened was, since I had the car body up this high, when we took off, a combination between the fact that we had a lot more torque on the back wheels, the air coming underneath the car, and the weight from the battery kind of towards the back with this battery. Again, you'll see what I'm talking about in a second when I take the cabin off. But the car actually picked up a little bit. You could see it again if you rewind about 4 or 5 minutes. You can see the car picking up slightly, and then it just flips and spins out of control, hits the front and the rear right of the car, as well as smashing up the wing. You guys can see here, which the wing I can replace very easily. I can just unscrew this, pop another wing on there of any kind, and then with the body, it's going to be kind of difficult to repair this. I think I can do it if I just get a torch and maybe some extra like plastic pieces or something like that, and get some tape to reinforce it. I just want to make it as aerodynamic as possible, and obviously because this car has taken damage to the wheel wells, it's going to affect the aerodynamics of the vehicle. But now that we've seen that, talked about that, went over the reasons why the car crashed, can now take a look at the underside of the body. Now it might look extremely, I like to use the adjective loud. Under here, this is what the car looks like underneath the body. Basically what I had to do to get this car to work, because the Genzace Bashing Series battery does not fit in the battery compartment on the opposite side here. As you can see, the battery is actually wider than the car itself, so had to do a little bit of I guess just a little bit of Wanye magic. And what I did was I velcroed the battery to the carbon fiber brace that went across the middle of the car. Also zip tied the battery down to the brace, so that way when we were going at high speeds, the battery would not fly off. So it has the zip ties and the Velcro just to ensure it's not going anywhere, which I think that did help. We also had this really long wire. I had to use 3 different extension cords or adapters to ensure that this car would be able to run, because this is a IC3 connector and it's XT60 for the RLAARLO. So to get this to work, I had to use, again, 2 or 3 different adapters. And lastly, I wanted to take a look at the just the inside of the car, see if we took any damage, which it does not look like we did. That flip was pretty severe. I mean, it was minor, but it was a pretty severe flip for the car. That was the second time this car withstood any damage like that. And of course, since the actual chassis is metal, that's a bonus. However, it does leave the drive shaft going through the middle of the car, as well as the plastic bits on the car, more vulnerable to damage, especially if we hit something. Last thing I wanted to look up was just to see if everything is working proper. Looks like the turning is working fine on this car. I did want to check the wheels as well. You guys can kind of see the wheels are definitely chipped or ground down, as well as the rims. I'm not sure, they didn't balloon obviously because foam tires don't balloon, but these things are just graded. So I wonder what exactly happened here. Now we can take a look at the other side. Again, the wheels are just absolutely graded. The foam tires, again, they are rated for a higher speed. However, it's harder to get a higher speed from foam tires that are this big, because again, the bigger the wheel is, the faster the car will go, but it also does put more torque on the back wheels. And since these foam tires are so small, we don't actually get a lot of speed out of them. So, and rubber also generates more heat, which makes the tires go faster in the long run. So rubber tires are actually better than foam tires for speed. So if we were to have a bigger foam tire, that's better than having a smaller rubber tire. But if we have a bigger rubber tire, that's better than having a bigger foam tire, because we're going to get more speed out of the bigger rubber tire than we are the bigger foam tire, just because foam does not heat up as good as rubber does. Then again, it is harder to find a rubber tire that does not balloon at higher speeds, and when you run into issues like ballooning, then the car kind of throws off balance. So you're going to want a good balance of counterweight, something like this. But I think moving the battery a little bit more forward, because what I've found out is having more of the weight towards the back of the car, I think it put a lot more torque on the back wheels, as well as when I was trying to turn the car. You guys can see the battery tray. It's supposed to be right here. We didn't have a battery in here when we were doing the speed run, obviously, because we have one on top. However, if we did have a battery here, it would have balanced it out more. The car was a lot more top heavy, and because of that, when we were trying to turn, you guys could also see in the video that the car almost threw itself over just in a simple act of turning, because the weight was more shifted towards the center top of the car rather than lower to the ground. So I think that also did have an effect on the speed of the car in the long run, and I'll take a look at that for the next time we take this car out. But I think that I'm going to end the episode off right here. I had a really fun time racing this car, taking this thing out. Another factor that did probably affect the speed of this car was the fact that it was 34 degrees out when I was doing that speed run. What you guys might not be aware of is with RC cars, the batteries, lithium batteries, the ones that they run off primarily for speed runs, they need to stay hot or need to stay warm for them to properly be used. Not like they won't work if it's really cold outside, but just like your car battery, it's not going to perform as well as your battery if it was in the summertime. just because the battery needs to stay at a certain temperature, and if the temperature of the battery is colder, it's not going to perform as well. Think of your iPhone outside. If it's really cold and you don't have it in your pocket or anything, if you're just like texting a friend, and how your phone gets really, really slow, same thing. I feel like we could have pulled maybe 60 miles an hour out of this thing. I know I said 70 to 80 earlier. Now taking a look at that speed run, that's a pipe dream. So I think if it was a warmer day out, I shifted the weight on this car, definitely got the body back to the state it was in before. We could definitely break 60 miles an hour. And of course, I also think with these batteries, you need to run them for a little bit of time before you do the speed run, because what I was finding out was that the car was actually getting more speed the longer I'd use the battery. So theoretically, I stopped right after you guys saw the crash. Theoretically, by the time that I did that crash, that was probably the fastest that the car would go. And most likely, because the battery was warmed up at that point, that was why the car flipped over, because it finally kicked into third gear. So it is what it is. It's just my my thoughts on it, my analysis. And if you guys want to see more of the AK917, I'm probably going to fix up this body as much as I can and possibly use it in another speed run. I know it's going to be hard with this damage here and this damage here, especially since this was the part that was holding down the body itself. But I'll try and figure something out, as well as replace this wing here. And the next episode, we'll try and break 54 miles an hour, try and get that 60 miles an hour. But I think we're going to need to wait until spring or towards summer of the next year to be able to really see those speeds closer to 100 miles an hour and 80 miles an hour for the Vendetta. So if you guys enjoyed today's episode, and it's a little bit longer debrief than normal, leave a like, subscribe if you have not already to Epic CW. I appreciate y'all watching and checking out the content. We've been getting a lot of people here lately, a lot of comments, a lot of engagement. I appreciate all of your comments, all of your engagements, your likes, subscribes. Keep it up. I'll keep this up as long as you guys do. So peace.